Hi, folks. I'm Dr. Mark Szabo. This is a quick overview of the ANSTI's Complexity Sprint. For folks that are going to be joining us soon, this will be a great overview. And for folks that may be interested, this will also give you a sense of what you'll be in for. The sprint has three outcomes. One is to really understand complex systems and what that can mean to you and your organization. Second of all, start getting some clarity on where to focus activity. One of the biggest challenges in a complex situation is where to go next, and we'll cover that as well. And then third of all, what sort of organizational habits might help us set ourselves up to be maximal effective in a complex situation? The overall approach is rooted in the double D design thinking system. And so this is an overview of what we'll be going through. The first phase is the discovery phase. And again, you'll note this is a time boxed exercise. So the goal is to make sure that we're in a specific time frame, and that really forces everyone involved to get to the point and to work effectively together. So first stage is discovery. Here, we're going to do a quick overview of my book, Fight Different, which talks about systems thinking, complex systems, and gives some really practical ways to understand and to show up in these kind of situations. Then we'll talk about some initial reactions for folks. What sort of ideas does it spark? How might it apply to your company and your situation? Then we'll go through some themes and start saying, you know what, we're hearing the same sort of things come up over and over again here. So let's identify those themes and keep an eye on how that might unfold for the rest of the discussion. Second stage is we start doing some definitions, and let's get some more specifics around what we're actually dealing with here. So first step here is to look at what sort of roadblocks we're facing. What do they mean to the company? What do they mean to your opponents or the folks that are in your way? And what do they mean to you? The next step is to look at the power structure. And this is a unique feature of the book Fight Different and our approach. Not everybody in a complex situation or a complex conflict is powerful. And in fact, oftentimes they just have some influence, but they don't actually have any power to make things change right in the moment. So we want to really hone in on the folks that have the power to make a material change to the situation right now. And as we focus on those people, that can help organize our strategy. And so we need to identify who those folks are. But then as we develop in the third stage, some plans around this, we need to look at understanding those folks and what the power folks actually need to do and what they need to feel and think in order to be able to do those things. So this really helps us get in the headspace of the folks that have power, because as we look at how we're going to persuade them and how we're going to get them to do what we want them to do, we really need to understand where they're coming from and what their legitimate concerns and values are. As we look at how are we going to deliver our solutions, we look at how would we persuade the folks in power? Who influences them? What are some ways that we can bring value to them? And this is another unique feature of this approach, is if there's someone in your way, best way to get them to do what you want them to do is start adding some value to them. They may not necessarily come on side 100%, but at least if we can get some value over to them, they can allow us to do what we need to do. And this is the basis of this approach. And then as we evolve ourselves, how might we change our organization? What sort of new organizational habits do we need to instill in order to take a fresh approach to this challenge? What sort of habits do we need? What sort of team challenges do we need to overcome? What sort of groups need to be reconfigured, and what's their attitude need to change in order to be able for us to show up in a really complex and challenging environment that is constantly changing? Again, I'm Dr. Mark Szabo. Here's my email address, mszabo@antstis.ca. Feel free to reach out if you're coming for a session soon. Reach out anytime. If you're interested in one of these sessions, again, feel free to reach out, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon. Thanks again.